Hello, I'm former journalist and political campaigner Phil Doherty, and this is Politics Unravelled. Please give the video a subscribe and a like on the way in, as it helps the channel enormously. So now, the UK Parliament is investigating the SNP and the missing INDYREF money. The Scottish Affairs Committee is to launch an investigation into the entire affair. The committee aims to find out how much the SNP raked in from public money and where it went. This, of course, comes after Nicola Sturgeon's husband, Peter Murrell, pleaded guilty to stealing £400,000. Glasgow West Labour MP Patricia Ferguson, who's chair of the actual committee, has written to the House of Commons clerk and the head of the Electoral Commission. She asked them whether any public cash had actually been nicked by Murrell and whether safeguards were strong enough to stop theft in the future. She also wants to know if any short money was swiped during the 12 years of Murrell's crimes. According to research by the Dear Scottish Express, during that time the SNP received around about 10.5 million in public funds. The Scottish Affairs Committee has said it will consider any further action in light of the responses that it actually receives. So it's a start, but it's by no means the end. How far it will actually go will depend on both the committee's remit and the answers that it actually receives. But what it actually does do is it gives notice to the SNP that this just isn't going to go away. And no matter how much they cross their fingers and wish it would, it isn't. As a journalist, I cannot think of another time that such level of thieving from any party funds has ever come to light. It's on such a massive scale. It's unprecedented in recent modern political history, with the exception maybe is not okay of some of the COVID funds. I mean, it's not as if someone's just helped themselves to a few stamps in the office, for a personal letter. While others have flinched money from the public purse in the past, I cannot actually honestly think of any as light-fingered as Murrell, at least not in, the last 10 years. Now, I'm sure that actually have been, of course. There's been bans in the past and in other parties. It seriously doesn't actually change anything about this affair itself. This stands on its own dismerit, and the SNP is the target in the crosshairs. Water buttery is just not going to work. It's not going to cut it. There are too many questions still left that need answered, and they need answered publicly. And hasn't the SNP and the Greens not shot themselves on both feet by not holding a Scottish inquiry in Holyrood? The stunt of saying that all parties in Holyrood should be included was exactly what it was. It was an attempt to shut down the affair and also muddy the waters. But I bet they're wishing not they had held their own inquiry. Now that Westminster is. But now, of course, it isn't in the hands of the Nationalists now. Westminster has stepped in. And now the question is going to be far, far, far worse for the SNP. Because that's what it's going to be. It starts with a few questions and then answers, and those lead to more questions. And those questions will bit by bit reveal what's been going on. And the thing is, these are going to be very uncomfortable appearances for those someone that answer questions. And again, their answers, of course, which will lead to more questions and more exposure of what really has gone on and where the financial theft actually leads to. You see, regardless of what the SNP like to think, there's actually one sovereign parliament in the UK, and now its powers are actually being flexed. Anyone who appears before the Scottish Affairs Committee is legally bound to answer truthfully under oath. So, this is squeaky bum time for the SNP, both the Scottish police and the prosecutors, because if the UK funds were actually used or are part of this theft, that raises questions that both the police and the Crown Office, the Procurator Fiscal, may be asked to give evidence to the committee. Furthermore, Questions about the ring-fenced Indy cash could be raised. Murrell didn't steal the majority of it. Many of his theft admissions actually preceded the raising of the actual cash in 2017. You see, the word ring-fenced in fundraising has legal meaning. It means it can only be raised and spent on what it was intended. In this case, an independence referendum. You see, it can't be spent on the day-to-day run of a political party by law. Spending on office equipment or day-to-day run of a political party is illegal under the law, okay, underneath fraud and, okay, other legislation. It should have been put into a separate bank account and not touched until there actually was a second independence referendum, as it was sold to independent supporters. If it was spent on new office equipment, say computers and carpets, for a party HQ, that's actually illegal. Nor can it be used for the day-to-day run of a political party or for elections. Now, we know that Murrell stole cash from the SNP, he's coughed to it. But the greater question isn't about what Murrell nicked, but what happened to the ring-fenced £667,000 INDYREF money. And why both the Scottish police and prosecutors did not actually pursue this. It was the original complaint from Indy supporters. What happened to my INDYREF2 donation? You see, that is the question that must be answered. And it's the question that the SNP has tried to bat away. And both the Scottish Police and Scottish Crown Office have become strangely tight-lipped about. You see, the whole affair stinks. I mean, no matter what the SNP say, and the cops and the prosecutors don't say, keep quiet about, the central question hasn't gone away. And that question is, where is the INDYREF cash? And why hasn't this been investigated fully? Those are the questions that everybody wants to know. Because it isn't just me who wants to know this. Indy supporters who donated money to the INDYREF2 ring-fenced cash, okay, from their pocket, they all want to know where it disappeared to. Because there's one thing, okay, that no one's actually talked about, is that ring fence, you're supposed to put it into a separate bank account. Well, it wasn't put into a separate bank account, was it? It was put into the SNP's bank account and then disappeared. Now, that's not just down to Murrell, that's down to the SNP. So the questions are, why hasn't the police, okay, investigated the missing INDYREF2 ring-fenced cash? That's the question. The next question is, if they have, then why didn't prosecutors, the Procurator Fiscal, why didn't they charge people within the SNP for fraud? Because that actually is a fraudulent actual crime.